Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. And first, before we go into all this, the new hunted set, the flesh and blood, and we're going to step back. We're going to have a conversation about Fab 2.0 boxes, the data I'm tracking, sell-through rates, and the question you all ask. Is the magic Pokemon boom going to spill over into flesh and blood? The data actually, for some sets, yes. For some sets, no. So let's go into it. First of all, in Fab 2.0 sets, starting with Uprising, we have 3 sets right now that are kind of teetering. Uprising, Dynasty, and Dusk Till Dawn. These 3 particular sets, based on supply that's left at distribution or not at distribution, and based on the amount on the open market, based on current sell-through rate of eBay, TCG Player combined, and I know for Fab, sealed product for some reason has like no data online, but then there's just bazillions of single cards selling on TCG Player. It's bizarre, I know. So it's going to be, we are going to have to do a little bit of reaching. We're going to have to make some Rudy making up estimates and try to understand this because there's just some things we're going to have to just make an educated guess on. Okay? Outsiders, Bright Light, and of course the 3 newer sets, Heavy Hitters, Misty, and of course Rosetta. They're a little too new. Well, the last 3 are, but Bright Lights and Outsiders are still readily available, and there's still a lot more than the market wants to admit available. So those 2, I don't see anything on the horizon happening. Now let's jump back to the first Uprising, the Dynasty, and the Dusk Till Dawn. If you look, even if you just look on eBay TCG Player, add it all up, take 5 minutes of actual effort, look at the sealed boxes. Dynasty is leading the way. Dynasty feels like it's going to be the first set that will break the MAT pricing $87 to $100 range bound that Fab boxes sit at in Fab 2.0, by the way. I think the data tells us that Dynasty is going to be it. Now, when you look at the single cards in Dynasty, it's pretty obvious why. Which brings us to the next thing. There's a lot of chatter about Command and Conquer being reprinted 5th, 6th time in a couple of years, 7th. Depends how many variants or white border, depends how many versions you want to call it. Some people are very angry, saying screaming game piece army, and every time they're not understanding why the company's not focusing on new R&D and making another card that's a different direction that makes the player choose, should I run CNC or should I run something new and different? That is how game design, for many people, feel it should be. Other people feel, no. It's a competitive required card. It needs to be available. And then, of course, the game piece army comes back and says, hell, hold up, princess, hold up. If LSS was really trying to destroy their own CNC and game and lean into the game piece army, why is the rarity not downshifted? Why didn't they downshift to Majestic? Or why don't they just make it fucking rare? Which is like an uncommon. So you have this tug of war going on, and the only way we're going to get an honest answer on this kind of thing is we have to let time go by, and the market will calibrate and determine what the value is and what's going on. So, with that introduction being said, Dynasty to me looks like the leader of the Fab 2.0 sets. If you look on eBay, if you go on TCG Player and look at the basket of cards, and you look at the EV, and you look at some of the cold foils and the full arts, and you look at you kind of understand why. Dynasty is just a powerhouse. Okay? I'm not including the newest 3 sets. We're just looking at older sets right now. So, the Bright Lights, I'm sorry, the market, I don't think it's a terrible set. I always thought Mechanologist and, of course, my girl Azalea, those were kind of my little playful fun things at the beginning of Fab history in 2019, 2020. Now, obviously, the design of an entire set around Mechanologist or a single thing, even with some ancillary hidden things in it, the market was very unhappy, threw a tantrum, and simply put, people just bitch and don't like Bright Lights. I personally don't think it's that bad, but I understand why the market rejected it. So when you look at the Uprising, the Dynasty, and the Dusk Till Dawn, we got the infamous serialized sketch angels and things, Prism, and we have a lot of expensive things, especially with the Marvels and different kind of Majestics and a lot of playables, but it doesn't have the oomph that Dynasty has. And I believe this is what's spilling over. So we have this strong market for Magic and Pokemon. Magic and Pokemon, I believe, in my theory, is going to spill over to Flesh and Blood. We're already seeing massive upticks in other card games. I mean, look at White Schwartz. Even a lot of the newer Yu-Gi-Oh sets are pretty, like, wow, doing... Usually Yu-Gi-Oh and just, Konami just reprints to oblivion. They are the king of game piece army, right? Well, Flesh and Blood is experiencing, I think, spillover from specifically Magic, not as much as Pokemon, different demographic. Flesh and Blood, and the way James and LSS runs the company, they're not making $300, $400, $500 booster boxes like Wizards. But they're providing you Marvels, exotic cards, crazy looking arts, chase cards, hidden things. I mean, now we go to the newest 3 sets. They are putting chase cards for collectors in the products. Now, as these products age, you cannot have chase expensive, a legendary or a fabled or a Marvel or a certain cold foil. And I believe, if I understand the reprint policy correct with Legend Story Studios, if they print a cold foil Marvel legendary, the exact cold foil Marvel legendary with that art and everything is done. Okay? So, as products age, we cannot have a box of Dynasty tank from $90 a box to $70 or $60. Like, we can't have that. There's too many cards of value. The EV, the singles are just too valuable. Because essentially, like right now, if they collapse all the way, and I could buy boxes of Dynasty for $40, $50, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can probably just open all the boxes, film a video, and flip the singles and probably make 50 to 80% return, even after shipping and fees, if you're getting in so low. So you can't have that kind of arbitrage, which leads me to the Hunted. So we have an interesting situation here. Hunted is supposed to be in like some waves because of supply issues, logistics, same old thing. Because again, printers and cardamom, everything's just flipping slam busy. Yeah, that's why you get these Timmies on the internet. Well, they'll just, Pokemon, they'll just reprint more because the demand. Magic, they'll just print more. Well, Flesh and Blood, they'll just print 1 million boxes. First of all, it doesn't work that way. There's not millions of printing machines, and LSS is like, well, I guess we'll just take these 10 machines and we'll run them 24/7 and print 5 million boxes. Like, first of all, printer capacity is a thing. Scheduling, startup costs, logistics. After you print so much and you make so many pallets and transfer it, there is a whole process that the Timmy dumbasses on the internet have no idea how things work. And they just make up shit that it doesn't make sense. Okay? So, this brings us to the situation of the Hunted. You all are blowing me up, and I promised everybody I would get to these videos. It's going to take a couple videos going into this week as we approach the end of the month for the Flesh and Blood release. And again, I promised everybody I'd get there, but between the Pokemon and the Magic and all this crap, I've just been slammed. And I've been trying to get caught up on videos, and the news cycle is going so quick. So, if you haven't paid attention, which clearly you guys have, because you've been blowing me up on Patreon and in comments on videos, the Hunted box prices, the new map and the new MSRP, essentially map is like $100 a box, okay, plus tax. And then of course the map or the MSRP was moved from like 110 to I guess 120 or something. So there's a slight increase, which again some people are furious about. I am never buying Flesh and Blood again. Here's my mustache. I'm not doing that because they raised the price. Are you kidding me? A Magic box of 12 packs of Innistrad collectors is like $400 with tax. Well, I'm sorry, $380 with tax right now. Like, for 12 packs! You can't complain about Flesh and Blood because map pricing in stores, it's $100 a box. Like, that is not a valid argument. I don't care if you don't like Rudy because I get cheap haircuts and I'm losing hair and I'm old, man. You can't complain about the company. You can't complain about James. You can't complain about management because their boxes are mapped at 100 and MSRP is 119. That puts like store costs at like what, 62 to 63 to 66, 65, depending on where you are, what distributor, and your volume. Puts you in the 60s. Like, and legally, maps 99 to 100. Like, we're not even talking, that's full cases for $3.99. So the argument about anger that they raise the price is the dumbest shit I've seen. You can be angry. You can be angry at print runs. You can be angry because James has really cool hair. You can be angry that the company has a flashy building. You can be angry because, James is taller than you. You can be angry because it's cold out in the winter, but you can't be angry that the boxes are $100. That's the dumbest argument ever. So back to what's going on. With that being said, everyone's starting to say now, and other stores are posting that, there's not a ton of boxes on this, and the supply and print run thing continues to be taken very seriously. This isn't 2022, 2023, where the bear market of everything is just shredding everybody. This is 2025, kids. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a different era, okay? There are many stores that had pre-orders for 10 cases, 20 cases, 100 boxes, and, a lot of them are actually out. Now, we're supposed to have a second wave right after release and everything like that, which I'm going to try to consolidate for me for the patron sale. I don't want to run multiple. It's too confusing. So some patrons may not get their order shipped for maybe an extra 3 or 4 days or whatever. If that's a problem, I'll put on the post and just don't buy. So, with all of that introduction being said, with the understanding of what I just said about, in my opinion, Dynasty is in the lead for Old Fab 2.0. Uprising's in second place, almost tied with Dusk Till Dawn. Third and fourth, you've obviously got your Outsiders and Bright Lights type situation. These are all the sets pre-2024, last year. Now, the newest 3 sets, it's too new for me to understand. It's too new because I don't know print run and supply information. All I can tell you is the demand, the amount of the boxes of the last 3 sets, heavy hitters, Princess Misty, and of course, Rosetta in Your Face. The 3 newer sets, that's a whole different animal. The demand for them, people wanting to crack them, the singles, the Marvels, the way they're engineered is quite different feeling than going back to, Outsiders or Bright Lights or whatever it is. So looking at the ones we have some history on now, it does feel like one of the reasons that Dynasty's in the lead is the single cards. Looking at the legendaries and the Marvels and looking at the Fables and looking at what the cards are. Okay? Now, with that being said, people feel the Hunted feels similar to this set. Now, arguing about the Command and Conquer situation, the new artwork looks fucking beautiful. Everybody loves the new artwork. The only complaint is why are they choosing to reprint over and over? But that complaint seems to be overshadowed right now with people saying, I have to have this version. It is fucking awesome. Okay? Well, is the previous cold foil CNC going to tank in price? I'm not sure. I originally heard the news, and I did the Rudy face. Ooh. Like, why didn't they make... But then, got a bunch of messages, and people are saying, what is LSS doing? Why aren't they making new R&D going in a different direction instead of just milking the same thing? And then I started getting a bunch of messages saying, Rudy, did you fucking see the new artwork on CNC? Who cares? So we have the tug of war of life continuing. But again, I almost feel like LSS and some other people who made this decision know that Dynasty is pretty much going to make a run for it. Because let me paint you all a picture. Let's pretend the previous cold foil Command and Conquer is, obviously very rare. It's not a rare or anything. It's not a majestic. It's tough to get. Let's say this flashy version is in a set. And that previous Fab 2.0 set goes from $90 a box plus tax to $100 to $110 to $130 to $150. Just humor me. Suddenly you have a $150 to $200 box now that has this flashy card. On top of that, the set's multiple years old. Nobody can order any of it, can't get a bunch more of it. So now we have an interesting dynamic. If that becomes the path that's about to happen in the next 12, 24 months, then the argument of a CNC reprint, even though it's not easily pullable, kind of makes sense. Now, I agree with people. Why don't they just make a new version, a different thing to make people choose which card? I get it. But based on the assumption that some of these previous sets are starting to actually get some years under the belt, And if you, again, go on the open market. I know I pick on TCG Player, but go on the open, look at the depth of the market. And I know not everybody lists everything at once and this and that, but no. It is shallow. It is very, very shallow. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, this is interesting. This alone is enough data to understand why the hunted, many stores are already, their pre-orders are gone. And the questions I'm getting now aren't, Rudy, when's the sale? Because everybody knows it's coming up next Friday and towards the end of the month. And I'll reveal the exclusive promo. We got half the promos slabbed and graded at PCG. Hopefully we can get them fully there by next week, or the next Friday, so the following Monday when things start shipping. So about half of them are graded and slabbed. I haven't revealed it yet. It's awesome looking. It feels like the demand on this one, it feels similar to Misty to me. This feels like a Misty type demand. Rosetta felt softer demand than Misty, but Mistville was just so fucking good. It was so gorgeous, and the cards and the marvels, the power level, the majestic slide. There was so much going on in Misty. Heavy hitters had that nice Welcome to Wraith 2.0 feel that just beat each other up, kind of battle arena thing. You know, it had that nice, that's kind of what heavy hitters felt. But this, ladies and gentlemen, in Germs, in Pluto Still's a Planet, in Rudy floating around in your ex, this still feels, with a stronger demand, I really think this is going to be an interesting dynamic. We have a new higher price point, I mean, 99 MSRP. We have a tighter supply, and we have really strong pre-orders. So first, I don't want to go into this for an hour long, but I just want to lay out, because it's been a while since we've gone through some deep flesh and blood talk, okay? And you guys I know I apologize. You guys, Rudy, why aren't you making fucking flesh and blood videos? Rudy, and why aren't you making more whites videos? I'm doing the best I can. It has nothing to do with whether or not I'm happy or angry at a different card game or company. It's just been, shit's been just crazy. It's been very difficult, okay? So with that being said, before we end the video here, I just wanted to comment that I think we're in, and again, we're not even going into the cards in the set or anything yet, too early, but I think we're in for a very, very strong release. If Rosetta did good, this is going to do Rosetta times 2. And with this kind of, even just having CNC as a card in this set and looking absolutely insane, you're placing a card that's not, it's still going to be tough to pull, but you're benchmarking this set immediately with a very iconic card with, some people say, the best artwork version this card's ever had. That's where it's at. And before I end this video, we'll have more flesh and blood talk next few days, because I got to get moving here. I'm super thirsty. Thirst trap? 30? Anyways. We have the sale coming up next Friday. Like I said, originally it's going to be limit 1, but I'm trying to get the rest of the pallets so I can combine wave 1 and 2 so that patrons can buy more than one. Yes, we're still sticking with the cheap pricing. It's going to be, I don't know what I guess, 400 under the, we'll do the $3.99 or something, and we're going to be doing the cases. There will be a 1% chance to get a basement item. If you don't know what that is, then you're out of the loop. And then, of course, patrons who order the higher quantity will also get a special code and voucher in the package to have a head start on the puzzle, also known as the Gem Keeper Season 2 project, coming this summer. We'll have another follow-up here in the next day or so. I want to get some more information from you all and comment on everything, especially with the single cards and the spoilers. The spoilers are like coming out as I'm filming this video. I kind of want to see some more of the cards in the set. So that's what's coming up next. Thank you all for watching as we, in my opinion, we journey through 2025, which is going to be an extraordinarily strong year for the CCG world. And I stand by the attitude that I believe we're going to have a lot of spillover from the bull market of modern Magic into Flesh and Blood. A combination of people pissed at how expensive Magic is, and a combination of people being attracted to how gorgeous and more intense these new Flesh and Blood sets are, and how really the management and the direction of it. I think we're going to have a really stronger than expected. I think they even can, Flesh and Blood can even have a really strong pickup on player base from the spillover of Magic, because a lot of people who are going to be really pissed on how expensive Magic's going to be in 2025. I think it's going to be a very ripe playground for Fab to really have a good year. Because remember, Flesh and Blood's been around since 2019, okay? We're at the 5-year anniversary, plus or minus a few months, right? Folks, the entire lifespan that Legend Story and Fabs existed, it's dealt with problems. You know, bad distributor people, bad partners that just did terrible things. Through a COVID pandemic with supply and issues, delays, and like this card game came out, and the entire 5-year life it's had, essentially the first 4 of the 5 years, have been volatile. And then we finally get past all that. We enter like an 18-month bear market where everything just comes out and tanks. Like, understand, like Fab has never had a great market condition where things went their way. Like, they've been pushing against resistance from day one, from distribution, from people, oh, there are no pallets, we can't, sorry, we'll just put out one box. You know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. And then, of course, the pandemics, the shutdowns, we can't get this, the delays. And then, of course, it finally gets past that. And then we have an 18-month crash. And then after that, we finally make it to 2024. And what happens? Heavy hitters, Misty, Rosetta, incredible successes. 3 bangers in a row. And now, we have the best market I've probably seen in my adult life. Rudy, you're not an adult. I tell myself I am. And now we finally made it to a playing field that's like good and positive for Fab. And it's exciting to see what happens. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.